I took this trade based off of yesterday's video, which was a trade on Bitcoin. It was a long position after confirming a indication plus correction. Then we had a continuation, which everyone capitalized on. And then on the macro, price right now absolutely ripped 8% on the day for Bitcoin, which is not really heard of when you take a look at the bigger picture. I mean, things like this don't really happen often. And so I played the safe route and I chopped super early, which is one of my biggest areas that I need to improve on, which is letting plays go and cutting profits. I cut initial profits here, which was about 80%. And then right around here, I cut all my profits, which gave me a healthy risk reward. And normally this is the route I want to take as of this month. This month I've been stupid healthy when it comes to trading. I have a 80% win rate with, I believe, close to 4 to 5, I think 5 trades right now. And I have 1 loss. And the profit factor is a 4.3. I want to push for 90% win rate. And I don't know about the profit factor yet, but I want it to be as high as possible. And then I want to match that month over month. And by doing so, I have to make sure that every single one of my plays can be as as efficient as possible. Now, that's not an excuse to just cut profits early or as expected. When you cut everything, you lose the chance to see what else happens. And given the state of the market, the daily was already bullish prior to this happening. If we even take a look and ignore that candle, price rejected this area 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And really, you don't even have to count these two. This is just major wicks. And this wick got instantly rejected here as well. Rejection. Price on the other side also rejected this area. Now, obviously it pushed through. It's probably going to close somewhere around here for the day. Great. What I'm worried about is, before this candle even happened, I said, look, I saw a lot of rejection here. We get past this first, I'll consider taking another trade in the future. I want to make sure it does something like this. And that, to me, was going to be the green light to look for the moon. And that came a little bit earlier than expected, which is okay. A win's a win, guys. I'm not really mad. I'm not upset at all. I'm happy that I did what I was supposed to do. What I could have done even better was not just chop everything. Like, I chopped here and then I sold everything here. What I could have done is chop and then chop. So majority is chopped and then the remainder would send, right? Or would send the other way. Like, if it's 10% of the port, or not the port, it's 10% of the trading amount that I used, it's not really going to hurt the entire trade if it went the other way, because it's only 10% of the trade. So wherever it went, I would have been, I would have had a nice little gamble and said, look, price rejected this 2 times. Chances are it could probably contest here or here even, best case scenario to me. Or worst case scenario, we get news, or there's just another, there's just another rejection here because history has shown that price will like to reject this area, which I anticipated. That's why I sold early. Now, the 10% would have been a gambler at that point, and I would have been completely fine with it, knowing that I did my homework and I did what I was supposed to do. So I'm just updating and documenting this video to say that I am finally doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. The end goal, the execution of my strat right now is to take advantage of that extra portion if everything lines up strategically, fundamentally. As long as everything lines up. So the daily, you saw things line up. I said, bet. I saw a sweep. You don't really see here, but on the daily, like, this happened in the morning and I actually didn't get swept by this at all. But because it made a little sweep, you typically, after a sweep, price collects all the money and then it just fucking sends. Like, that's typically what happens when you see, like, look at this. Last candle here, sweep. Last candle here, sweep. Well, not really last, but as we get close to, like, the peak, sweep, right? Doesn't happen all the time, but when you see a sweep, especially when it's out of market or out of session, like, typically right after that, smart money's going to come in and capitalize off the sweep. This overall was fucking perfect. I mean, we got in the trade, price came up, continuation, broke through these levels, guaranteed these levels. On the 4-hour, it was going to contest these levels. Why did I mark this one? Oh, I marked this one because after here, price automatically pushes up here every single time. I was like, bet. It technically touched up there. I didn't really count it. I was like, at the time, I didn't really count it because it just looks like everything else. I'm just going to assume that we made it to this level And it's probably a healthy time to start considering cutting a little bit, maybe 10%, which I think I did. I think I cut like 3 times total, but we took partials here. And then this was like in the middle of the night, so I was asleep around here. I said, bet I'm gonna hold on because this is a beautiful range to consider support. As you can see, price was supporting this area constantly, even rejecting it here. Okay. And why did I trust this setup so much? Because the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour pointed to bullish momentum. That's all I needed. I didn't trade any of this because it was Sunday. Monday, it was already too late. I didn't even want to trade this area, which would have been the initial resistance area, quote unquote. However, it was in the no trade zone, so I decided to just opt out completely. So I waited. I said, bet. I waited. I wanted to take this one. It actually jumped up and pushed through all these levels, and they actually made an indication above this area. I said, bet. I'll wait for a correction. Correction comes. Technically, if you want to be picky, you can count any of these as higher lows, or you can count this here to here a lower high. I'm sorry, a lower low. You don't have to be that picky. Like, I know that sounds weird when you want to be technical, but in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at the bigger picture and like you can see the waves. And bro, trust me, I had this problem too. I was like, what the fuck? Like, bro, like when I'm seeing Sai say that, bro, I'm like, obviously you can see the waves hindsight, like after the fact. Trust me, I had that mindset every time this man would teach. I was like, okay, how do you do it without seeing the fucking thing happen first off? You have to picture it as a macro sort of movement. Like, you can see a story unfold. And then when you dig in, you get to see those little hints of price having a general area to work with. So here, you see how there's like a bunch of swiggly lines? Here is just catching the general grasp of it all. And if you don't see it, if it's real messy, skip it. You have to have the discipline to skip it. And that's the sort of thing that I had to do. So after all that being said, once we're back here, I slept this off. I woke up, I went to work. Next thing you know, price hits the same indication level as it should, because technically speaking, after an initial indication, correction, and continuation, if it corrects again, and price on the correction stage stays above the previous higher low, then it's going to make, chances are it's going to make another higher low once again. This is literally what you're seeing here and here. You see this 2 points? You're getting the general idea of what's happening. And what might not make sense for most people starting off, over time, when you accept that that's what the market is showing you, then once you embrace the fact that that is the state of trends, that's how trends work. Because look at it, it looks like if you blur your vision, it just looks like up, down, up, down. I know it sounds confusing, and I had the same problem for so long, bro. But this is literally this. This is literally this. So after the correction, I woke up, yada yada, breaks out, immediately rips to my TP. I said bet. I took everything out, closed. And then Bitcoin does the fucking craziest thing. It rips on the day. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not disappointed. You know, as a trader, you need to be professional. You need to tell yourself that you're a professional. And you need to respect that. You need to respect your title. So I said, okay, I'm a professional. If I have gaps, it's my job to fix them, not to be upset about them. And with that being said, I'm going to wait now. I'm not going to touch anything from this point on. What we want to do is we're going to wait for a price to do its thing. It's probably going to do something like gold, where after that big rip, then it's going to create a pattern, and then we're going to judge what price wants to do after making a no trade zone, okay? Because this is technically a new high, and it's riding off bullish momentum. I'm not trading it, I'm just analyzing it. If I ever decide to trade gold, I'm already learning it, you know what I mean? So I'm ready for it, I'm prepared for it. So the same thing with Bitcoin. I'm not going to touch it, I'm just going to observe. I've made my wins. I already made the trade this week for myself. I said, bet, next week, we'll see what happens. If there's nothing, there's nothing. Okay, really, in reality, I would probably hold this on to next week. Like, if I was an even more efficient trader, I would hold my moon bags up here, aka the 10% bag of my total trade. but that's for me to improve on in the future. I'm just documenting this so I know that in the future, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah, we're not touching this. The next high I want to see is up here, which is where the daily, uh, technically this is a lower high where the daily is, where the gap needs to be filled. I don't really worry about gaps, but as you can see on the big picture, like price likes to fluctuate in this region. And if we see the same thing here, we're going to see the same thing here. Let me actually look at this and pretend this is like one big. It's a lot to work with. I don't even think we should regard that. Just disregard what I just did. But yeah, I'm going to just keep it short, boys. Next time, we'll see what happens. I'll make sure to document it and check y'all in. Peace.